into the chat the link to the worksheet that we're going to follow along with today. I know I gave you a free resource just for registering. This is the worksheet we're going to go step by step through today. Okay, so that's going to be in the chat. Hold on, my view changed, and now I'm not seeing everybody anymore. Let me go back to the other view. How do I undo this? But we're going to get that link in the chat. Give me a second here as I get back. I accidentally clicked on something and I'm not seeing what I want to see anymore. So let me fix that so I can see all your lovely faces. Okay, and we will keep going here. So you're going to grab that link. Noe, can we get that link in the chat? Thank you. He's got it right there. And as you grab that worksheet, I want to highlight one important foundational mindset piece as we get started today. And that is that sometimes people treat ChatGPT like a vending machine, right? Like you're just going to go in and you're going to same way you might put money in and choose a Diet Coke or whatever it is, you're going to say, give me a template, give me a paragraph, and you're just expecting it to pop back out to you exactly what you want. But ChatGPT, first off, it can do a lot more. It can think, it can suggest, it can analyze, it can coach you. And the thing is, though, to get those results, you have to train it. And you have to tell it a little bit more about you, about your business, and about how you think and what you're looking for. And that's what we're going to do today. And you'll see it doesn't take very long. And as we get started, I think, we've got a lot of people on the call now, so that's good. Make sure you've grabbed and downloaded that worksheet that's in the chat. And as we get started, again, we're going to go through tech together. There's bound to be some adventures. If at any point you're stuck or confused, realize someone else probably is as well. So type your issue in the chat, right? Put it there for everybody to learn. And either I or my admin will respond and work to help you, okay? We really want you to leave this session with a working GPT that you can use. So we're going to go step by step and do that. Make sure you've got that downloaded. And then once you're ready with that downloaded, you can just put ready in the chat.
I don't hear you any longer.
You don't? What about other people?
Yeah, we can hear you, Adrienne.
We hear you.
I can hear you.
Okay. Awesome. Okay, so most of you can. There's just that one issue. Okay. I don't know how to fix that, but let's go ahead and go back to, if you're ready with your download, your PDF, just pop ready into the chat. Okay. Noah, can you pop that link in one more time? All right, you got the link right there, and I'm going to go ahead and make sure I've got it pulled up, and we're going to go step by step through it, okay? That is so weird. If you can't hear, Noe, can you suggest that Bill maybe leave the room and re-enter? Can you maybe chat him that for his issue with hearing? All right, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share this handout, and we're going to start going through it together. All right, can everybody see that? Yeah? Okay. Let's see if I can make it a little bigger, but I don't know. All right, so we've all got this. We've all got this in front of us on our own computer too. We're going to go step by step, okay? So we're going to create a custom GPT, and by the end of this, it's going to be trained to you. It's going to be ready to go, and here are the steps we're going to do so that you see where we start with, where we're going to go, and then you will do it. And it's not that much. It's just 6 steps, okay? The first is we're going to choose your focus area, because you can build more GPTs later, but we're going to start with one area. And I put some suggestions on the list. You'll see we're going to either do operations, deal vetting, marketing, or entrepreneurship. You're going to choose what you want, but that's going to be the whole first step. Then we're going to pick the expert panel for your area that you want to work on today. We're going to define your voice for the GPT, train it on your business, assemble the instructions, get them into ChatGPT, and then we're going to test and refine. That's it. And we're going to get it all done, I know, within this hour. It's going to be amazing. Okay. So first step is just going to be to choose your focus area. Now, A GPT can help with anything, but as you know in life, if we try to have one multi-use tool, it's not going to be as great as having individual tools, right? Like I love me a Swiss Army knife, but we all know that knife is not as good as like a legit knife, right? So we're going to work on making a GPT for one area of your business. Here are 4 common areas for real estate investors. Let's work with one of them now, but if you have some other niche area you want to do later, you can do the same process for that area, okay? For our example today, I'm going to go through and do operations, but you can do whichever one of these 4 speaks to you and speaks to your biggest pain point, okay? Everybody good? We've done that? Jeff, you're on screen. I can see you. Can you be like, yeah, we're good. I chose something. Okay. Thank you. Then step 2 is going to be to select your expert panel. And I gave you like 8 suggestions for each of these areas. So you're going to choose any well-known person, living or dead, who you'd like to be on your expert panel. So what's cool about ChatGPT is they can, like ChatGPT has accessed and has in its brain all of the information that's on the internet, right? That's in popular books, all of that. So if we take someone like the first person on this list, Martha Stewart, who, you know, is a business icon, and we had her on a panel about operations experts. Every book that's been written, every documentary that's been made, every interview that she's had that talks about her business philosophy, her business principles, how she's run her business, it's going to be in ChatGPT and they're going to be able to reference it. You don't have to put it in. You don't have to tell ChatGPT what Martha Stewart's like or what she thinks. It's going to know. And that's why I love about creating these panel GPTs is that we are getting all of that expertise and wisdom without having to input it. So here's some suggestions. And Bree, I totally thought somebody would have that question. Okay, the maximum number of experts. If you get too many, it could get unwieldy. I have a panel that I use a lot and I have 6 experts on it and it's worked great. My other thought with that is you can put maybe a little more on, and then as you use the panel, maybe you find that there's one expert that tends to be kind of like an outlier, or you don't really like their wisdom or advice. It doesn't actually fit with you. You can go in and edit and remove them later. So I would almost, you know, lean toward having a few extra now, realizing that you can remove it later. But yeah, I have 6. It works fine. I think anywhere from 4 to 6 would be good. 8 might be a little unwieldy over time, but this gives you some to select from. Other questions on choosing your panel? And I will note, this is going to affect the advice you get, and you want it to be really personal. So like under marketing, for example, we've got Alex Hormozy and Grant Cardone. Those are 2 like very strong choices, and that might not be your vibe. So don't put them in if it's not your thing, right? This is your opportunity to really customize it to what you want. Leanne, great question. We're not using ChatGPT yet. We're just prepping what we're going to put into ChatGPT. So I just want you to choose your panel. You can choose from this list. You can choose from somewhere else. And what you might want to do is like open a Google Doc or a Keep or wherever you keep a notepad and just type the names in. Okay. So that's all you're going to do. If you're just going to use ones from this list, you don't have to type them because you'll be able to copy paste. But if you're using your own names or adding them, then I would just kind of type them down as you think about them. Okay. But we're going to get all this ready and then we're going to put in a ChatGPT, and that's going to take like 2 minutes or less. Okay. The hard part is figuring it all out beforehand. All right. Other questions on the panel? And again, these are just 4 like niches that I thought would apply to a lot of people on the call. You can, in the future, make one for any niche you want. So if you want, yeah, you guys get it. All right. Now, step 3 is defining your voice. You know, as this panel talks and as it makes recommendations, especially if you're doing for any of it, really, operations, marketing, when it's going to maybe give you some advice or even make something for you, right? So I have a marketing panel like this, and so I'll be like, help me figure this out. And then I'm like, okay, yeah, I like that. Write that email. So we want to make the voice that it's going to use for these things. And I want you to start thinking about, for that voice, how do you want it to speak and how do you want it not to speak? Okay. So again, if you've got like a different Word doc up, you can type in the words you want. These are some ideas, right? And again, just like the experts you bring on, this is where it's going to be customized to you specifically. So are you like Jeff again, poor Jeff, I'm picking on you because I can see you. You're one of the people there on my screen. Like, Jeff is cool and chill. He's from California. He lives in Florida now, right? He's not going to speak like an attorney in New York, right? And so he doesn't want his chat GPT to sound like an attorney in New York. He's going to have different style. And so that's something you can choose here. Okay. Also, maybe kind of a fun thing. Let's say you're not going to make anything public facing here, right? You're just going to use this for your own wisdom. Maybe you want it to talk to you like Grant Cardone. Maybe you want it to be like a drill sergeant because you know you're not going to use it for anything that's ever going to go out and represent you. It's just going to be internal. You can tell it that too. You can be like, I want someone that's no nonsense, who's going to tell me like it is, who's going to do tough love. Like, if you need your own like Grant Cardone personal coach, you could make it do that too. All right. It's all possible. All right, so you're just choosing some words about how you would want it to speak, and then we're going to also say the opposite, how you would not want it to speak, so that way you can figure it out more, okay? Any questions? Please tell me we're recording. No, it says manage recording, so I hope that means we are. It looks like it, yeah. So, yeah. Thank you for VAs because I always forget that. Thank you. All right. So we'll move on from voice. Sounds like there's no questions on it. Now this next step. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Kathy.
No. Is this a how you want it to? It's just how it's speaking to you, or how the output is coming out? Because you're utilizing this. Like how I'd want it to speak to me might look different than how I want an email to be written to somebody else.
Right. So if you would have it be public facing, like if you're going to use this for marketing to draft emails, then I would say we focus on how it's going to sound to someone else. If you're only going to use it internally, like it's just going to be your advisory panel and it's never going to make something for you, then how you want it to speak to you. Okay. You could get into like the level of let's make those two different things and really get it that nuanced, but I wouldn't recommend it at this point I wouldn't recommend it because there's just more chance of things going wrong. Also, Noe, can you get the link in the chat one more time? Because I'm not sure if the old chat shows up for people. So anybody else who's joined, so that you can have this handout, Noe's going to drop it in the chat again. So if you didn't get this PDF that I'm showing, you'll be able to. Okay. All right. Step 4. Now this one's going to take a few minutes. This is the biggest step out of all of them. And this is important. Now you might add more to this step later on too, okay guys, but it's training it on your business. So this is really, really powerful so that it can advise you well. It needs to know your business. Now, how many of you guys have a website for your investing or for whatever you'd want it to work on? A few? Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. The great thing is it can read your website. So anything that's on your website, you'll just give it that URL and it can read that. But I like to give it some other stuff too, depending on what you're wanting it to do. So we're going to pause here once I go through this, and we're going to give you, we have plenty of time, so we're going to give you like 5 minutes to get these docs together for this. So I'm going to explain it and then we'll pause, let you do that, okay? And this is also a time if you're behind or whatever that I can help you catch up. Okay, so these documents that you can assemble that are going to say like, hey, here's my world. They can be PDFs, they can be spreadsheets, they can just be screenshots. So one of my favorite things in the whole wide world is the clipping tool. And so I will just like clip images, save them in this folder and upload it to be like, hey, here's what my Monday boards look like, right? Or here's what my Google Drive looks like, right? I can just clip that and upload it and it can read those images and understand them. And then, like I said, we always want to link your website. So here is some ideas based on your focus area, what kind of docs you might want to get together. And what I would say right now is on your computer desktop, go ahead and make a little folder on your desktop and go ahead and just copy from, let's say you use Google Drive or Dropbox, or you've got stuff in your desktop and other places. Make copies that you put in this folder that's going to be like GPT training. Okay. And don't overthink it. Just give it documents so it's going to be able to figure out what you like and what you want to do. And the more guidance you give your GPT, the better it's going to function. So don't stress about if it's pretty or perfect. Just kind of be like, hey, here's stuff we do along these lines. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to stop. I have to switch my sharing so that I can get us some background music so you guys can do this. Okay. Perfect. All right. So I'm going to give you about 5 minutes. And if you have any questions with anything, just drop it in the chat during that time. The music isn't sharing.
We can
That's a
hear the
bummer.
music.
Ah, it might just be low on your computer, Amanda. Thank you for letting me know, whoever did.
Hey, Adrienne, real quick, are we creating subfolders, for example, operations, deal analysis, marketing, so GPT knows what sort of docs they are, or is this going to be all in one main folder?
What is the focus for your GPT that you're making today? Do you want it to do all of those, or do you want it to do just one?
I'm not really too sure yet. I'm just going through the steps right now. So I was curious to see when I do start gathering things.
I would put it into the subfolders then. And that way, and that's a great idea. Like maybe you're doing an operations GPT right now, but you want to do deal analysis later. If you see a great deal analysis doc while you're doing this, just make a deal analysis folder and put it there so you have it for when you're doing it later.
Thanks.
So we're about 3 minutes in. I think you guys are all still working on it. When you do wrap up, just pop a ready in the chat for me so I know.
Adrienne, I have a question. So mine's more based at the fundamental level. Is I'm wanting like a panel of experts to advise me on my business that takes into account the sales, the marketing, and the operations cohesively. Is that too much, or do I need to have a chat for each one of those individual areas?
I think that they can look at all of that and how it goes together. Yeah.
Yeah, I think in large buckets, not like at some point in time, I imagine I get down into the minutia. And then my other question is, what's the difference between the fundamental difference between the chat and the project? Because right now I have all my projects trained, and every time I go to use my custom chat, I
What do
feel
you mean by tell me about what you're doing with projects. What do you mean? Like in GPT, you have projects?
Yeah, I have project folders based on, like the education I put out on passive investing made simple. And that whole project is trained on my voice and structure. How does that differ from me creating a GPT?
I am not an expert on projects, so I would have to get back to you on that. I'm going to make a note. Or no, can you make a note? Because I don't really use projects right now. I've always used the custom, well, I've done other things, but I haven't used projects. So I can look into that and get back to you.
Cool. Yeah, I know I can't share it, and I know I can't turn it into an outward facing tool. So I know that's part of the limitation, but
Right.
if I'm just using it internally.
I know one of the things I like about GPTs or making a custom GPT versus like just using a thread, and I don't know if projects would be more like, a thread or not. One of the things I like about a custom GPT is it continues to get updated like from GPT, like from Chat GPT rolled on the back end, and it doesn't get like old or tired versus if I have like a thread that I've used for a certain activity, right? Or a certain thing I'm doing, a certain, let's say, document I've made over time. Those threads or like that's a specific task can start to be glitchy and can start to like malfunction or be really slow. And what I like is that when you make a custom GPT and you take the time to train that, that doesn't happen. But I don't know about with projects. All right, Bill, did you have a question as well? And then we'll move on to step 5 if people are ready. It looks like they're starting to be.
You have multiple businesses. I have a couple of businesses. Would you create separate operations GPT for each business?
Yes. So like you'll see, I'll share my screen in a minute with ChatGPT, and you'll see we have a list of different GPTs. And like for my stuff that I'm doing for like coaching and consulting, I have AG at the beginning of all of them because it's Adrienne Green, and it's different. And then for our virtual staffing business, that's Workergenics, and so we'll put Workergenics or WGX at the front for those. We use one ChatGPT account, and we just have different GPTs that are trained for these different businesses. Yeah. All right, let's move on to step 5. We're going to assemble it. Okay, so I'm going to go back and forth. I'm going to share this window, and this should allow me to go back and forth from the handout to ChatGPT. We'll see. So we're going to do step 5. I'm going to do the introduction, and then we're going to go through it together. And you guys also, everybody gets a gold star because we're doing a live workshop with technology, and nobody's been, I want to knock on wood or something, but like nobody's been crazy lost so far. So good job, group. Good job. Okay. So we're going to use the below lines, these kind of, this template here to build the instructions in your custom GPT. And I'll show you where you put them in. And the one thing I want you to notice is like there are underlined parts, and that's where you're customizing it. And we're going to go through together step by step. Okay, so I want you can go ahead and either like click on this, or you can go to your ChatGPT account. Okay, if you've got like a ChatGPT account, you can go there. I don't want to go too fast in case people are taking time to get here. And you go to GPTs over here. Okay, so, and this also moves periodically where you go to do this. ChatGPT or OpenAI, they like to change it every once in a while. So it used to be like you went somewhere up here or here, but now they've got this little GPTs area. That's why I didn't put in the instructions, because it moves. And then it takes you to explore GPTs. Also, you just saw, it takes minutes sometimes for pages to load here, okay? So it's not you, just takes time. And then over here on the top right, you're gonna have My GPTs, and you're gonna have Create. After you make this GPT together, you can always find it under My GPTs. Okay, so if you click here, like it's going to show the list of GPTs, and here you can come in, you can edit it, you can delete it, you can, like I just made this one as a test today. So you can edit them under My GPTs in that folder. of course, the first tech issue happens. So it's possible maybe that like different ChatGPT versions might look differently, because I know there's a few different ways you can kinds of paid ChatGPT account. The other thing is if you have, that's Amanda, I was just going to say that, Bill, if you've got the free ChatGPT, it doesn't let you do this. It has to be one of the paid ones. That could be the issue. You can still follow along. You've got the handout. You can do this in the future. But if you've got any paid account, if you go here, we're going to go to create. Okay. And under create, it's going to open up this screen. On the left, this is where we're going to put in our directions to ChatGPT. And on the right, this is where we're going to preview or test things. Okay. So what we're going to do first is over here, we're going to copy this base prompt. And you can do it a couple different ways. You could also just copy up to right here, paste it in, and then you're going to write in whatever you're going to do. So I'm going to do operations for our example today. Are you doing operations? Are you doing deal analysis? Are you doing marketing? Are you doing entrepreneurship? Whatever it is, you're typing that in. Yours may be like mine, where it kind of like did some funky line stuff. Don't worry about it. Doesn't matter. Don't try to fix the formatting. You might just mess up stuff you don't want to. Okay? Formatting doesn't matter when we're putting stuff in here. Okay? Once you've done that, are we good? Once we've put in just the base prompt instruction, okay? We're going to then copy the next two areas as is, core purpose and expert behavior. You do not, there's nothing to customize on these. Nothing's underlined. So you're just going to copy paste them right underneath, okay? Again, don't worry about how this looks with random line breaks, doesn't matter, okay? Then we're going to go to the expert panel. So I'm going to go right up to the list. I'm just going to go copy paste, and then you're going to put in your panel names. So if you just want to use the ones I gave you, you can just come up here, highlight, copy paste. Okay. If you want to change it, you can always delete them here. You can type in your other people that you wrote on a separate list, whatever that is. Okay. Are we all good here? We're going to do a little check-in pause break. All right, I like that. The thumbs up. Yes, thanks. Okay, got a couple of thumbs up, okay? If you're completely lost, just like type help in the chat, okay? All right. Then coming back here, we're now going to do tone style, okay? So I'm going to copy the whole thing, and then I'm going to change those pieces, okay? Tone style. So I want them to speak like a experienced, professional, kind business owner. Those are the words I'm going to choose. Okay. You can do more, you can do less, whatever you already had. And avoid. We're going to avoid skirting the issue, being overly verbose. Whatever you want it to avoid, right? Anything like that, okay? Whatever you had already set up, right? You've already set that up. You're just copying it in. And then the business instruction prompt. This GPT supports my business. Here are the core resources and links to understand what I do, how I operate, and who I serve. So you're going to copy that, paste that, and then you can add in, like I like to do my website first, right? That we talked about that. And then this is also where you now can drag and drop all of those files you had. So you'll see, I'm getting mine and I'm going to drag them on. You can see, you can just have that folder open and drag and drop the files here. If you have other websites, you can tap websites, things like that. You can only see the left side of your screen, the chat. Okay, I'm not doing anything on the right side right now, so I think we're okay. If you guys can see me putting in the instructions here. I can see the whole thing on my screen share, but you guys only need to see the part about putting in here. So what questions do we have as we do this, guys? I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to press, and then when you're done, you just press this button or enter, and it starts thinking. Okay. And then hopefully this retry works. Sometimes it just has an issue, right? Okay. It's thinking. We'll see how that goes. While it's thinking, guys, how's it working for you? What are you guys getting on your end?
I'm slow,
There's a lot to
Adrienne.
do.
I'm just dropping stuff in, so it'll take a second.
Yeah, same. I'm trying to get caught up on all the things I need to answer real quick.
Perfect. No rush. I just don't want to be the I don't want to be the long pole in the tent that's holding things up. Okay. And Whitney, I like putting in the expert name because then it's going to pull everything and not just one book. But if you have a certain book that you really are like, this is the guide I want it to use, you can certainly do this. Like if you really want it to emphasize the 10X is easier than 2X framework or Who Not How or EOS, you can reference that specifically. But if you just kind of want like all, like in the sense of EOS, you want all of Gino Wickman's experience, I like to just put the whole person. I think mine might have just kicked my whole thing out. I'm going to go to my one that I already had made then, rather than doing it all again. Lloyd, totally lost. Okay. Tell me where the last step is that you're at, and we'll take you from there.
We're just not familiar with it at all. We're not really techies, so I hardly know where to begin. I'm listening to you, but I don't see it.
Sometimes it takes I feel you. I feel like there's times when I'm like, I'm just following along with the tech. I have no idea what's going on, but if I do this enough times, it's going to click. So were you good with assembling the pieces? Was that part good before we got on to ChatGPT?
No, because I'm on a laptop and I'm downstairs and everything's upstairs. I have GPT on my cell phone. So,
Okay.
You know, I can't put it together this way.
That's fine. That's why you have this PDF. You can do it in the future. Okay.
Yeah,
You
we'll
can
have
keep
to.
it and do it. And the other thing, and this is a good point, I think something that Lloyd shared reminded me of, is it's a whole lot easier if all your stuff is already electronic.
Yeah.
If
Oh,
your
it is.
stuff-
It is.
Okay, good. I was going to say, if it's not, the easiest way I would say to do it for anything that isn't electronic is I would take photos of it. The great thing is that ChatGPT can read and get data from photos. So if there's anything that's not electronic, you know, I I talked about doing screen grabs. You can also just take a photo.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Any other questions or anything as people come up?
No, I'll just have to work on it some other time.
Yeah.
Yes, if there were other questions.
Other questions?
No.
No.
Okay. Anyone else? Anyone else? I know I can see Kelly's getting it together.
Hey,
I'm sure
Adrienne,
Whitney is
quick,
too.
quick thing. Okay, so I copy and pasted everything in, put the experts in, uploaded some files. It said it couldn't read a PDF, so I was like, just ignore it. And then it says, let me know what you'd like me to focus on next.
Perfect.
Okay.
That is fabulous, because what we want to do next is we want to test it. Okay. We want to do the testing and refining. It is not going to be perfect the first time. Kind of like when we talked about the panel of experts, you're going to put some people in, and then over time you might be like, I want to take Dan Martell out, right? I don't his advice is not cohesive with everything else, right? Or you might be like, I want to add another person in. So we're going to test and refine it right now. And then keep in mind, you might do this again in the future. That's normal. So here are some just like idea of example prompts to test your GPT. Okay, just to give some ideas. It's, again, you just put in some like basics, so you might not get the answer you want, but it might prompt you to be like, oh, there's this other document that I didn't put in that would really give me a better answer here. Okay, so for my GPT that I have, so you can tweak whatever you want and just kind of put some test stuff in and see. Okay, that's what you're going to do. And what you're looking for is it sounds like you? Are the responses helpful? Do the expert voices show up with clarity, and are they relevant? And one of the things I like about doing this thought partner style of GPT is you're getting other people's opinions. So they might suggest things that you hadn't thought of. That's one of my favorite things about it. And so that's something I would look for too. Like if I'm asking about how to do a marketing procedure or something like that, right? And how do I market my investment properties, like my long-term rentals for rent, or how do I get short-term rentals? Like, guys, if you've got short-term rentals, it's tough out there right now, right? So maybe I'm like, how do I boost my bookings on my short-term rentals, especially in the off season? It might suggest something that I hadn't even thought of. Like it might suggest, well, why don't you try to find a snowbird midterm rental when I hadn't even thought about that? That's what's kind of cool about the panel. That was a little bit of an aside, but the point is right now we're just testing, okay? So you can take any of these and put them in there. So my panel is for operations. And so I would I had a question, I asked it earlier. Better operations, SOPs. Where should I get started? You know, the point is that this one is really a thought partner. So as you're thinking of like big picture problems, or you have a plan already, something you could use this for is upload hey, here's my Q3 plan, right? My Q3 strategic plan. What do you think of it? Are there things I could do better? You know, things like that. If you're doing like business operations or entrepreneurship. And so here it's given me, okay, to help me create better standard operatings, I maybe want to audit my current ones, right? I want to structure them by category. I want to standardize the format. I might want to put in some visual aids, assign responsibilities, improve accessibility, and iterate and improve. Like those are great things. If somebody was getting started with SOPs, like yes, they should do all of that. These are all things I learned how to do with SOPs over time. So it gives us a really good basis. Now, what are you guys thinking? Have you guys tested yours at all? Anybody get anything crazy?
I got like really general stuff that it didn't really, like it made almost the experts unnecessary because it was just so broad. So I asked it like which advice is coming from which expert, but it's probably didn't go as deep as I would have liked it to.
That's a good point. And it should, because what we have in here is that piece about each individual voice. And this one didn't give me that either. So can you give me advice per expert? That might be the kind of questions we're asking. Like I'm not necessarily asking the best. No. Yeah, mine is not giving me. And so, quick thing here, guys. If it's ever giving you an answer that's not what you want, you can just stop and redo it. Okay. So we're going to say no by expert on the panel. Yeah, see, mine is not happy right now.
Yeah,
It
that's
is
what mine
not
did. It
doing-
was like, who is it? I was like, I already told you.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Are you advising? Okay, I'm going to stop there because I don't want to focus on mine too much. But yes, it should go back. And so you can go and look at the configurations, or you can ask here too. You can go back and say, hey, I want you to answer with the individual roles of these people. I would pop that in here and then configure again. So like if I was going to do that, where are my people? So let's see if this improves it. I would say answer from the perspectives of, there. Okay. Okay. To use to answer from those people's perspectives for every question. That should, and see, then it's updating it when I'm like, okay, do this for everything. Now it's updating. I'm glad we have this situation. What better way to test and refine than to actually test and refine? Okay. So advise me on how to create SOPs for my business. First step. Okay. And it doesn't matter that I had a typo in there in case anybody cares. So Whitney, she's asking a good question. I think we can also ask in general, and then I'm going to go to the raised hands. You can update a GPT. You can. What you just want to be mindful of is that if you ever update it and you tell it conflicting things, it doesn't know what to do. That's the one thing that I like have as a little asterisk to be aware of when you edit a GPT that already exists rather than creating it from scratch. Now, if you are editing it, you can ask, hey, are any of your instructions potentially conflicting? And then you can fix it. But that's something to keep in mind is sometimes, like if you've got a GPT and you update it a lot and you've got a lot in there, it can get kind of messy or confusing. Okay. As long as you're aware of that, you can do it, no problem. All right. And then Michael has raised a hand. Michael.
Hi there. Back to Brea's question. I'm wondering if does the model type does that need to be consistent with what you're displaying compared to what we're all using? I'm wondering if that.
Which one are you on?
Oh, I was wondering about for Brea's question.
For Bree and for yourself?
Yeah.
Right.
In the right thing. I'm wondering if she's matching the same model 4.0 that you're using.
That's a good question. So I do, the 4.0 is kind of like what you use for most tasks. They have other models. They have one that's like for these advanced reasoning and things. There's like a deep thought thing and it just takes a lot longer. Is everybody in 4.0? Okay. I have found that works pretty well. Other questions? I have a hard time seeing the hands raised. So if other people have their hands raised, I think I figured it out. Anyone else need any other help with this? You guys are doing great. You guys are doing great. I'm so excited. Okay. That's it. You guys have got your GPT. So congrats. You've got it. I'd love to answer any other questions. And I would also throw out, guys, I just made something that I wanted to share with you. If your VA could use a tool like this, would you want them to be trained to use on it as well? Because sometimes people are like, oh my gosh, I've got this VA, but I don't know how to train them, right? Or I don't know how to get them to do this, or I don't have the time. So I actually just made a course called the Ultimate Executive Assistant, and it's going to teach your VA how to use ChatGPT and AI, how to communicate like a pro, how to take initiative and run with the systems that you have, and not just be a VA, but to be an executive assistant who solves your problems. So I just made it. We just finished it. So I'm letting you know because you're here and I'm excited. And if you want to check it out, the link is there. Because it's new, we're doing a first look discount for $97 through this week, through Sunday. After that, it's going to be $297. And this is a course that you're buying for your virtual assistant to take to learn how to do cool stuff like this. If you guys have any questions, there's a lot on that page, but I just wanted to let you know because we just came out with it. Other than that, I'm here to answer your guys' questions as you play around with your GPT. I can see you guys are all just staring at your GPTs. Working with
This is great. I can't wait to get started on it. It'll be great. I'm excited to start using it.
What did you decide to make yours about, Kelly? What focus area?
I actually just did something that I find myself doing all the time on ChatGPT is creating social media posts from a picture. So that's what I did. And then I'm going to go and I'm going to do different aspects of it, but I figured that would be the easiest way for me to get started creating for my first one. So that's what I did mine on. So I'll probably take a picture, like a random picture, and upload it, and then maybe tell it what I want it to say and see what it does. I created a project that was like that. That I kept referencing back to. So I'm interested to see the differences between the project that I created and the GPT, because the GPT has, you know, our names on it of the people that we're wanting to sound like. So it'll be good.
Yeah. And what I like about that is you have like, it's a very specific thing. Like you're going to have it take these pictures. And that's something that's cool, guys. If you do things a lot and you find that you're always copy pasting the same prompt in, make a custom GPT and then you don't have to put that prompt in. So it's already got all your stuff in it. Love it.
Yep.
Thank you guys all who came. And yeah, feel free to pop out whenever you're done. If you guys have any other questions though, we ended up early, guys. I'm going to give myself a pat on the back for that. All right. And Amy, she kept it simple to help advise on sales call and help with scripting. Awesome. I like that. Yes. And more company info so I can give better advice. Yeah.
Adrienne, I had a couple questions.
Yeah.
So thanks for teaching this. This is really, really good. First off, I had no idea you could even do any of that. Now, I don't use Chat GPT. I think we were talking about, I use, I've tried a bunch. I've tried Gemini. I'm using currently Grok. And I've tinkered a little bit with Chat GPT. My wife used that one. And we also used, I think it's Copilot, which is Microsoft. When I was just looking at Grok, I don't see any ability to do that to where you can like implement all this stuff to create that. So it sounds like it might just be Chat GPT specific. Does that sound right?
I am not aware of GPTs like this in other programs. I could be missing that. I like ChatGPT for like a good overall tool. I find like I can use it for 90% of what I do. Its limitations versus some others. Perplexity is better for up-to-date information. That's one thing where ChatGPT can sometimes make things up, right? Give you like those phantom answers because sometimes it just, so for example, I would look up something like, what are the boarding schools in this country? And it would give me schools that are not boarding schools. Like that is something that it just like makes up. Like it's pretty apparent if something's a boarding school or not, right? Like via the internet, but it makes it up. So that's a limitation of ChatGPT where Perplexity is better with up-to-date real-time information. And ChatGPT has gotten a lot better with images, but still sometimes its images are kind of janky, especially if the images have words in them. It makes them spelled incorrectly is the nice way to put it. Like it's just random with pictures, you know, like the six-handed or four-handed people, right? But other than that, I would recommend taking a look at ChatGPT, and it might well be worth becoming kind of like your go-to because it does do a lot.
Gotcha.
Jan, property management. There is that. I would maybe look into some people who do stuff on the multifamily side, like some big names in multifamily and multifamily property management, because there's some big operators in that space. That's where I would look to get like a big name. I feel like there's some guy based in Phoenix whose name I can't think of right now who might be a good fit for that. But that's what I would look at is these big multifamily ownership companies. And the other thing is if you just get people who are good at operations in general, it will apply. Like for my marketing panel, nobody in my marketing panel is real estate specific, I don't think. But I've gotten great advice from it. Yeah. An expert panel for researching guest podcast opportunities. I feel like I wouldn't necessarily use an expert panel for that because that's more of a specific task. And an expert panel is more for being a thought partner. And you don't really need a thought partner for that. You need something that just goes and does it. Bill, if you don't have a VA right now, I actually have a course that we're going to teach in September to get people up to date, or to help people get a VA. So I don't know if Noah, you can find that waiting list for that somewhere. Like, I don't know that page off the top of my head. But Noe, if you can find the page for the waiting list, that would be good. And we can pop that in there. Otherwise, you know what? We'll get it to you later. Bill, can we just make a note, Noe, that Bill wants to potentially be on the waiting list for the course? We can get you information to help you get a VA if you'd like one. Otherwise, yes, that would not make sense. Also, I don't know if Bree's still on here. Bree has a, yeah, Bree, we're already giving that training to everybody in Workergenics. All our VAs in Workergenics are already going to get that training. So don't stress about that. Your people are already going to get that. So
Thank you.
Yeah, I meant to mention that. So
Adrienne, I was going to ask you one other question on that, on the program here. So this is specifically for our VA. So we would just tell our VA to go on and get the training. I mean, we can watch it too, obviously, but it would be more geared towards them.
So when you buy it, you will actually you'll send it as a gift to your VA. So you'll put in their email and it'll go to them. They'll create the account and they'll go through it. Now they get a certificate when they finish it. So you can ask them for that certificate to show when it's done. I forget how many different lessons are in it. It's like 4 modules. I forget the exact number of lessons, but each lesson is like a video lesson and then a quiz, and they have to pass the quiz to move on with like at least 80% completion. So they've got to actually do it to get their certificate, because they have to watch every module, pass the quiz, and get to the end, and then they get a certificate that they can show you.
Got it. Cool. Thank you. I think we're definitely going to run our VA through this. Looks really good.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm excited. And it really came out of, like, as you know, we work with a lot of VAs, and it was like, it came out of like, why do they not know how to do this? Or I wish they could do this. And I was like, we're just going to make a course and they're all going to take it. And then they're all going to know how to do this. And I don't have to do it again. All right. Bill, we got the link for you here. And yep, that's it. And so that's what we're going to launch again in September. It's an 8-week program. You can start from like, I just have tasks. I just am busy. And at the end of 8 weeks, you've got a VA in your business. So yeah. Other questions, guys? Thank you, Kelly. Always a pleasure. Really so sweet. Anything else, guys? Here to help. You know what we can also do, as you're here, something fun that I had on the list and forgot to do. I would love if this GPT is going to save you 5 hours next month, which if you're using it, it will. What would you do with that time? What are some fun things you would do if you had 5 extra hours this month? Would you do other work? Would you have more time for coffee and tea? Would you sleep more? I don't think this group is going to say that they'd watch more TV. That's not the vibe here. Beach walks. Bree, create more custom GPTs. Bree's in work mode. You already had your fun time in Spain and everything. You're ready to work more.
Yeah.
We're looking, we were going to be in Portugal for 2 months, and I told you we're not now. We're going to spend time in Spain, and we're going to go do a hub in Granada. I'm excited about that.
Oh, you guys are going to love it.
So yeah, family camp. That sounds fun.
Yeah.
I think I'm actually in Cardiff now, Cardiff, Wales, which is like a smaller town. It's really nice. I'm like, and the people here are so friendly. It's kind of like Seattle with the weather. It's like overcast and gray, which we've spent a lot of time in hot, humid weather. So we're enjoying the change of pace. So, I'm sure your wife is loving that golf cart. You guys had some good answers. Love this. Love to see what people are doing. And Bill, if you want them yesterday, we'll talk. We'll follow up. See how we can help. I love to help people. I'm like, however we can help. Okay. Anything else, guys? How else can we help?
When you first said Cardiff, I thought it's right next to me. I'm in San Diego and there's a Cardiff right here.
It is Yeah, that's the thing with the UK is all the names are the names you have in the US too. Like we're gonna spend 2 weeks in, as they say it here, like Birmingham, which honest fun fact, Ozzy Osbourne, just passed away from Birmingham. And I lived in Chattanooga, which was like a couple hours from Birmingham, Alabama. And so it's like, yeah, they're all repeat. And so when I would be searching, like trying to Google Birmingham when we weren't in the UK, it would always be sending me stuff because I'm often on like a US VPN. It's sending me stuff in Birmingham, Alabama. And I'm like, no, I want summer camps for my kids in Birmingham, UK, not Birmingham, Alabama. So yeah, I feel you. We haven't been to Guernsey.
I could use the 2 links again. Somehow I lost everything.
Yeah, no problem. And you know what? Also, let me grab it for you here. Here. Okay. Noe might be able to help. Noe, can you make sure we get the PDF link down here too? At the bottom in case he needs that. And what I want to do is I want to make sure we get that PDF in the email too. So after this, guys, we're going to email out, once this video processes, we're going to email out the video recording of this. So also if you want to share it with someone else, you're welcome to do that. I'm going to make sure that we include the link to the worksheet as well. And then we're also going to have the link to the VA course as well in there. Okay. All right. Paul wants some help with a VA too. We'll follow up and help you with that. I have a virtual staffing agency. So if you guys want to just like hire it and be done, we can do that. There's options. I love having a VA. Like if you guys have any questions about like having a VA, I could talk about it all day long. And so yeah, if you got any questions for those who are thinking about it. It was really transformational for me, and that's why I feel so strongly about it. I will be honest, like I brought on a VA because it was kind of like the only option. I had moved to a new area as a real estate agent, and I needed to do a lot of deals to make the money that I wanted to make because the purchase price was about half what it had been in the other market I was in. So I was like, well, I need to do twice as many deals just to make the same amount of money. And I knew that'd be a lot of work and a lot of operational back end work. And so it's like the only way I'm going to do it, because I had like my youngest, I have 3 kids, and my youngest was like 9 months old at the time. I was like, the only way I'm going to do it is if I bring on a VA. And so I did. And it was scary because I had never done it before. And it was huge. That VA did so much of my operations work, so much of the contracts and all the back end work that I was able to just focus on like lead gen and servicing, like showing houses and everything I needed to do as an agent. And my business exploded. I started a team, ended up selling that team. Like it worked. And so now I'm like, how can I help other people make it work? Because you can do a lot and still have a life. It's awesome. All right, guys. Well, we're at 7 o'clock, so I'm going to give you another minute or so if anybody has any other questions, and then we'll go ahead and wrap up the call. So any last call for any questions or anything else I can help with? Going once, going twice. All right, guys. Well, we'll be setting everything in a follow-up, and if anything comes up, I'm here to help. Okay, guys? Thank you. Okay, how do I do?